What's up, Guardians of the Realm? It is once again me, Jaysea the MMO Legend. This week was a bit of a weird week for me in gaming. I know I said I was going to review Darkfall or give an impressions video, but honestly, after putting about 20 hours into the game, I still feel like I'm just getting my sea legs for that game, and it would be unfair and unpractical to give a review or an impression video for the game just yet. I will give some of my week 1 impressions, however, and I'd also like to mention some of the other big releases recently that I've been playing, such as Hightail, Dual Corp, and No Rest for the Wicked. So let's talk about Darkfall. It was originally released in 2009. It's a full loot PvP MMORPG with first-person skill shots and third-person melee combat. It's got a huge game map to explore, dungeons to crawl in, cities to claim, islands to sail to, and krakens to fight. You can have giant wars and more. The game was shut down several times and went through many iterations and owners, but recently we got a fresh server and a renewed interest in the game from the Rise of Agon team, who put out a fresh start server on January 16th. They are also working on a 64-bit server for the game, and that will hopefully coincide with the Steam release. They've also talked a bit about planned updates and improvements with the 64-bit version, such as built-in proximity chat. Personally, I'm excited for this because of games like Arc Raiders and Dark and Darker. They have shown that there is an interest for in-game voice communication still, especially in PvP games. As someone who has known about Darkfall, yet never really learned to play the game, I wanted to check it out, especially since it has a lot in common with the game that got me hooked on MMOs originally, Ultima Online. So this game takes me back to when games were just way different. This game feels like nothing else I've ever played. It's incredibly unique. It also just reminds me of like a bygone era of online gaming when an MMO was literally just a huge map holding a ton of players. There are very few loading screens or instances other than a few dungeons which are not private at all. And the arrows you can shoot, they have a nice physics drop off after about 100 feet or so, and magic bolts will fly forever and you can get hits from super far away. While I can't comment on the game's PvP because I'm still leveling my magic, the PvE in the game is quite simple. It's pretty fun due to the first-person perspective and hotkeys that allow you to chain together abilities in satisfying ways. There are also goblins outside the starter town and sewer creatures beneath the town that serve as a simple introduction to the almost FPS-like combat. After beating up a sufficient number of goblins and getting tired of competing for kills, I set out to explore the map and take it all in. The game uses a system of security zones for PvP rules. In the blue areas, you are protected from all PvP. In the yellow areas, there is a flagging system that you will drop anything you're holding but not equipped. The red areas contain the most high-value resources and are full loot. Everything in the game is meant to be replaced, and there is no need for repairing gear and no way to, so the economy keeps on moving, and there will always be a need for more crafters to fuel the war machines. In town, you can find the in-game marketplace, where you can buy or sell almost every item in the game. This is very fun if you like to hoard materials and random crap so that you can peddle your wares away and then reinvest in supplies for your adventures. You get skill increases in this game from simply doing whatever skill you want to increase. Want to level your great axes? Just kill any monster with an axe. Want to level air magic? Shoot lightning balls until your air magic is leveled. On this server, the leveling is quite fast. It will take a while to max out any skill, but it's not a several month commitment like many classic MMOs of the 2000s era. And by the way, you can't level any skills beyond a little bit with the starter weapons. I found out the hard way. So as a new player, one of my first goals in the game is to max out my magic spells, fill out my spell book, and learn the basics of combat in the game, since I would like to eventually participate in one of the Guild War sieges that this game is famously known for. After learning the basics of the game, my first goal was to complete at least part of my title quest. There are title quests that grant bonuses to your core attributes. You can equip one title at a time, and you get a bonus to strength, dexterity, intelligence, and so on. I started with the intelligence one so I can improve my spells, and the first step was to murder a couple hundred zombies. The quests in this game, outside of a few simple ones, usually involve an hour or two of killing a certain creature, and they usually reward a good chunk of money or some meditation points. Meditation is this game's version of an offline skill training system. You gather meditation points from completing quests and achievements. You can select an attribute or skill in your meditation journal to raise offline. I'm starting with my attributes because they are significantly harder to raise than most skills, and I noticed that dailies don't lose progress if you only partially complete them in a single day. Attributes themselves can go all the way to 120, but raising them beyond 100 takes a significant amount of effort that I won't go into here. The hotbar in this game works similar to other MMOs, but it also took me a minute to figure it out. The UI definitely has a lot of jank to it and is one of the game's weak points. But once you figure it out, it's quite serviceable. I even enjoy my UI layout after messing around with it a couple times, but it could definitely be better, and maybe I'll tinker around with it some more soon. Another rough lesson I had while learning this game is that if you log out without storing your mount, the damn thing just disappears or will be stolen. Also, if you dismount too close to a spawn of monsters, they will beeline your horse and kill it, which will leave you stuck on foot. Also, you have a recall or Hearthstone ability, but it takes forever to cast, and if you cancel it, it goes on cooldown. So, indecisive people beware. If you hadn't noticed, this game is very sandboxy. There is no main quest. You are not the main character or the hero of the realm. You are just a random person in the game world, and you are what you make of it. This is a refreshing change of pace from many newer MMOs and helps to build the game's compelling sense of immersion. Oh, I should probably mention that this game is free to play with an optional subscription that you can purchase with in-game gold. So it's actually a great free-to-play MMO option. Overall, I have been having a good time with this game, even though I've just been staying in the safe zones for now. I'm just learning how to play the game and getting comfortable with its many systems. Eventually, I'll find a group to play with and engage in some PvP, or hopefully a war one day. While I was a bit turned off by the competitiveness of this game, it seems like this community is on average really welcoming and wholesome. The developers behind it also seem to be actively willing to change the game in order to make it better. I'm going to keep on learning this game and eventually give it a more complete perspective video, but right now, the future is looking bright for Rise of Agon. So in the meantime, I'll keep on learning and working on Darkfall Rise of Agon. I've also been playing Dual Corp, which suffered from a pretty rough launch, but on day 3 they released a patch that alleviated many of the major pain points in the game. Also, No Rest for the Wicked released their multiplayer update together. I have tons of good things to say about that game, and I will after I finish the main story with my friends. I've also been playing a bit of Hytale with my wife. We've been enjoying it a lot, but it is very bare bones at the moment, and I can't wait for more modders and development to happen. So, what MMOs have you been playing? Are there any games or updates that should be on my radar? What's your opinion on Darkfall? What is the meaning of life? Thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next week for more MMO Legends with JC.